All right. Oh, let me start this. Go live here. Checking connection. Hey, Moors. You are now live on two platforms. Hooray for me. Islam. I made it. Yes. All right. Islam to the Moors. Happy holiday. Holiday. Happy holy day. And now good Sabbath because the sun has now gone down. So it's officially the Sabbath. And yay, I made, oh, anyway, yay, I made it in. 9 days, and I made it in during the transit of the subsequent moon. All right. So last time I was here, and I'm not gonna keep y'all long because it has been a day. And I'm looking at two different cameras, so excuse me if I'm looking back and forth. Let me just move this, and maybe that'll help. Anywho, let me go and get this through. It's already 9:45, and I still have stuff to do. It has been a wonderful day. Um, I've been so occupied and so productive that I'm finally now getting around to this, and I'm still not done. But I wanted to like go ahead and keep my promise to myself and come on here every time the moon changes its sign. All right, and I'm finding that I'm posting these updates because today is day 9 of the 77 days of elevation, and I'm following the moon because these 77 days equals 2.5 months, and the moon changes signs every 2.5 days. That just happened. All right. Well, there are no happenings, so that's how it works. But anyway, Islam to those who joined in. I appreciate you for real. Happy holy day and good Sabbath. But yeah, I'm finding myself posting these in the middle of the moons because I was like, okay, let me come on before the moon happens so you can prepare. But I'm like, nope, I keep winding up in the middle of the moon. Hmm. I'm not gonna fight it if it keeps happening like that, despite me trying to do otherwise. I'm just gonna roll with it. And I'm finding it works better because everybody talks about what to prepare for. This is a check-in. How you doing? Right. So, and then I was like, that's a good idea to just maybe give the moon a little time to like settle in and let people, you know, tune in. And that way you can learn these frequencies, right? So what if like in the event that you on a desert, you land on a paradisical desert island, right? Wouldn't it be useful to be like, okay, I wonder where the moon is so I can tell what day it is and what season it is so I can plant, let me tune in. Okay, like for instance, today the moon is transiting through Aquarius, right? So you would be like, I'm aware of my feelings and I'm acknowledging them, but I'm not feeling them, right? I'm more thinking about them, right? And I'm not thinking very kindly of them because it's Aquarius. It's fixed air. So it's way more intellectual than emotional. But yeah, so it's like a check-in. So you can be like if I point some stuff out, you be like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And I might be like, well, where is it falling in your chart? And you can look at it and be like, oh, is that why that's happening? That kind of thing. So right now, the moon is in Aquarius, conjuncting Saturn. Actually, the conjunction happened about 3 hours ago. And I'm actually glad I waited so it can give time to separate. Again, when there's planet, right? When the planet that's getting ready to conjunct it, as it's coming in, it's approaching, conjunction, separation. So we're in a separation between Capricorn or Saturn and the moon in Aquarius. And the way it's feeling to me is a continuation of the full moon in Capricorn, which it kind of is because that full moon was in a Saturn ruled sign it was being dictated by Saturn. So when a planet is in a sign, the planet that rules that sign is telling the planet that's in that sign how to act. It's like you in my house, so you got to follow my rules, right? So the planet that was dictating how the moon was going to be act was in its own sign. So you have Saturn in its house telling the moon how to act, which is that's not a good feeling. That's like so the moon the moon is a Cancer. It's a big crybaby, all right, if you know any Cancers. And then Saturn, if you know any Aquariuses or Capricorn, um they're not mean, They just have better things to do. They have their concerns aren't there is like more emotional last because it's the opposite of the moon's house, right? So you have some old cranky dude dictating to the crybaby how to act in his house. All right. And I'm like, this feels like a continuation of that moon. So instead of a 2.5 day moon in Capricorn, it feels more like it's going to be a 5 day Saturn moon because it's going from Capricorn through Aquarius and it's in a Saturn sign going to another Saturn sign and is passing by Saturn on its way out. So, me personally, I'm loving it. I am all the way in my element because, like I said, right now, the moon is conjuncting Saturn, right? I had the moon conjunct Saturn in my natal chart. And it's kind of funny. I have the moon conjunct Saturn exactly opposite of where it is right now today. So mine is in Leo instead of Aquarius, right? So if you want to get an idea of how I feel, you know, throughout the day, today's been a great day to be like, wow, that's how she feels. Yeah. Where it's just like it's kind of I don't want to say cold more than cool, right? Um, I have been breathing easier. I don't know if that has something to do with it, but it feels like I'm breathing cold air in and out. And Saturn rules cold things. Uh, the moon rules women, and women are yang. That's cold, right? So if you've been feeling like a cooling sensation, excuse me, that's probably where it's coming from. All right, but I don't want to get too stuck on astrology. Actually came in just to check in. You know, day 9 of the 77 days of elevation, and what a wonderful day it's been. On YouTube, this has been titled Crow Buffet. Yep, and it's gonna be a bonanza, right? Because in case you didn't hear, today or yesterday on July 4th, 14th, Jamhal Abdullah Bey of the Rise of the Moors, he was granted bail in the amount of $8,000. All right. Um, his wife put out the call to the Moors, I think around 10 or 11 o'clock that same day in the morning. And by 9 a.m. this morning, she had $8,000. So she's been going, she's handling that. The Moors came through big time. All right. And huge shout out to all the Moors who contributed, and most especially, and because I'm partial, because I actually work with them, Mercy Charities, MRCI Charities, because that's what they're there for. You know, it's like um, God help the child, right? And mercy charities, right? So Allah has given these Moors resources, and instead of using them on themselves, they're using it to help them their people who are didn't ask for it. It's like, oh, look at you trying to do something for yourself. She didn't ask for it. She didn't ask for it. It just came to her, right? And because those Moors are deserving, they've endured a lot. And I'm looking forward to the commentary, you know, where I already know what they're about to say. Well, just because he got bail don't mean he ain't going to jail. Well, how right were you about him getting bail? Because these people swore up and down what did that lame-o say? He getting a 8 ball or whatever. DJ Bay, and y'all can send him this video because he's whack. All right, he says we're not Moors rocking the going around calling himself DJ Bay, and he was. I remember him particularly because he was so obviously salty that somebody else made it to the news, despite how bad it was before he did. I'm like, wow, you really are despicable. You are a mega hater, and it's like, why? You could have said nothing, but no, you decide to be like, man, this nigga calling him a nigga. He made it to CNN. Now what you got to say? And don't say he going to jail because how right were you about him never getting out before you say something? That's where your credibility is. You and your wild Indian that ain't nobody heard from. So I guess I want to make a list. I'm gonna make a list, and I'm trying so hard not to dock some people, but just to be like, can we get your comment now that this has occurred? Because he's getting ready to come out. This more has had I'm not gonna get too deep into this. I just love the fact that it happened on the holy day. right? So he had his hearing on 7/11. They said they're gonna give him bail. On 7/14, they gave him bail. And on 7/15, his bail was collected and on his way to, or his ransom was collected and on his way to the kidnappers, right? So I know what I plan on doing, whether it's accepted or not. But this Moore has been sitting there unjustly for a year with nothing to do but read, and he knows how to do research. So I'm going to put it out in my heart, maybe to him directly, to sue their socks off. All right. And I will gladly assist in any means necessary, any means. And I should note that I should be a certified paralegal. I actually went through the course and actually got all the work done. I just refused to sit for the test to get the certification so I can do what I feel like. Because once you get the certification, you have to work under a bar member attorney. So you can't take the knowledge out my head. I got that. So I'm good. So hey, my services are available. All right. I know how to write stuff up and my stuff works. Anyway, so yes, free rise of the Moors is a thing. Islam. It took a while, but you know how that is. I like to think of it as a rubber band. It's been pulling and working for a year. I wonder what's going to happen now that it's been released. I know I'm looking forward to it. All right. And for all the naysayers, because I know y'all, Islam, thank you. I actually wanted to come on here to talk about assumptions, right? Now that we did the astrology, touched on what happened with the rise of the Moors, assumptions, right? Which is great for an Aquarius moon. This is perfect. All right. So, drawing off of Anne Ortley, and I hope I don't butcher what her concept too badly. I'm trying to remember because the last time I heard it was like in April of last year. But I have a Mercury and Taurus, so my memory is like a rusty bear trap. Once it snaps, boy, it takes a minute to get there, but once it snaps, it's there. Anyway, so she said a good way to look at the zodiac, if you want to see how that sign behaves and how a planet, once you know how it behaves, is going to act in that house, right? Or sign. So she was like, look at it as a planting year. Okay. So April, that's when spring starts, right? You initiate stuff, right? You start planting your seed. You initiate the growth cycle, right? Taurus, you start seeing the sprout. Stuff is getting rooted, right? And you better hope it's going to stay there. And it tends to hold on, and it rules freshness and tenderness and, that kind of stuff laying around because you're just sitting there in your growth cycle type of sort of thing. Gemini is you're getting the people together around you to prepare for Cancer, right? You're getting these people, so you're going out into your wider community, talking to people like, so what you growing? Oh, you're not growing anything? I need a handyman. So you're reaching out to your community. Cancer, you are developing those and solidifying those relationships, right? And you're delegating, that kind of thing, right? And you should start seeing the first fruits, right? Because the gain of Cancer, second house, first house is self, second house, second from wherever you are is always the gain. As it moves down, it's the gain of it, right? So all those stuff you've done up to Cancer, the gain is Leo, right? Where it's fixed sun just leaning on you. And that's the height of the heart, like the freshness season where you could just be eating off the vine type of thing, right? So then Virgo is when you're getting ready for the gain of Libra. So you're starting to calculate like, okay, now that we've been gorging ourselves and we actually got some surplus, let's start bean counting. Because remember, Virgo is like, that's like the, I want to say the accountant. Scorpio can be accounting too, but that's more like detective work, like forensic accounting, right? So Virgo is counting up like, okay, we need to start tallying this stuff so we can prepare for the harvest in Libra, right? And then, Scorpio. Now that we've harvested all the stuff from the growth cycle, right? We're getting ready to, we're preparing, now that we've gone halfway through the zodiac, getting through Libra, we're getting ready to prepare to go into the dark time of year. And this is Western astrology. I know there's Vedic and all that stuff. I use Western because it's based, or not Western, tropical, because it's based on the seasons, right? Of course, you don't need that if it's like sidereal. It's like the descriptions we use don't really work over there because it's always hot. It's always summer over there, that kind of thing. But anyway, and then it's like same thing with the deserts. It's like you have to use something different because you can't base your stuff on the season, how the seasons change, right? So anyway, so once it gets to Scorpio, that's when you're getting ready for winter, right? And you have to start deciding who's gonna die, right? not to be harsh or anything, but it's now that's when they start slaughtering the animals. Like we got 6 pigs, we got enough food stored away for us and maybe two, so we can breed some more pigs next year, maybe 3, but the rest of y'all gonna have to die, right? And what the Scorpio rule, it rules death and all that stuff, right? But it also rules you getting ready for a celebration because right after that is all that work is Sagittarius, where you get to get fat. That's when they have their Thanksgiving, but everybody has a harvest holiday around that time, right? And then Sagittarius into Capricorn when the moon or the winter is setting in. It starts. Winter starts, right? Actually, let me backtrack to Scorpio, right? Because the thing I like about Scorpio, it is so harvesty. I don't know how to describe it, just because this is why I'm like, tune in, because it's Scorpio season, because everything around you starts dying. It starts transforming, it dies, but it's coming back, right? Like leaves change color, right? And that relates to what I'm getting ready to get to next. So, so you got Scorpio where the leaves are falling off, right? Then you got Sagittarius. Now that the leaves are gone, you can actually see through the branches, right? And be like, oh, what lies beyond that? Let me go explore. Let me expand my horizons and go explore that, right? But in terms of harvest, yeah, like I said, Jupiter would be like they're having all your harvest celebrations, and it even goes into Capricorn, where they have Christmas, because you've worked and worked and worked and worked and worked. And what's the reward of Saturn? You get rewarded for your hard work towards the end, because it's the 10th sign, right? 10 out of 12. So, and this is towards the end of our year in December, right? Or our calendar year. And then from Capricorn, from Sag, you go into Capricorn, you get your reward, and you go into Aquarius. That's the height of winter, where it's just frozen air. Nothing's moving. But because you're still, you have time to think. This is when people you can either get cabin fever or you can write a great novel, right? Because you're stuck in the house, basically, right? You have a lot of time to think. And you can think about preparing for funerals, because it rules Saturn, right? But which rules like old age and old age, right? And I say funerals because the sign after Aquarius is Pisces, right? The last sign. I'm not saying Pisces rules death, but it does rule like spirituality. Some people say the afterlife, because Scorpio rules more like death and transformation and moving on and stuff. But it's like, okay, where do you go? That's more like, that is Pisces. It's the end of the road, right? And you start planning funerals and you start planning life, because you're getting ready for Aries, right? So say all that to say assumptions. Back to assumptions, right? Was that hard? If you know how it works, if you know how the seasons work, you know how the zodiac works, and you'll know how to read your own stuff. But to the assumptions part and the how it relates to the 77 days, it relates very well to what happened to the rise of the Moors today. How people just knew what was going to happen and it didn't happen, right? And it's like the colonists threw the Moors a bone, knowing how desperately hard it is for us to like come together when an emergency pops up. Because the first thing we usually do is turn on the people who's supposed to be helping the person who has the emergency, turn on each other to first determine how am I going to benefit before we get together and help this person that's actually got a problem, right? You know how people start fighting over the money before the funeral has even been planned, that type of thing. So I think this was a bone. They thought that was gonna happen with the Moors. Like, we're gonna give them a low bail because we know they ain't gonna be able to get $8,000 no time soon, let alone in 24 hours, right? And I love it because it's just like, ha ha, see, we did it just like every other nation. Ha ha, we proved we got unity, right? So that assumption was wrong. And now people thinking he going to jail and all this stuff. It's like, are you serious? Again, you making assumptions, right? These people they had to let him out, right? Because they couldn't justify keeping him any longer. They really did. The fact that they made him pay to get out is just like criminal. It really is criminal, right? So I'm guessing they're assuming he doesn't know what to do. And even if that's true, what makes them think that we don't know what to do? And before Moors think, okay, the people in charge, I think that Moors really assume if you're getting paid for it, it must be hard. The fact, how many Moors have shut down attorneys that went to the school, 20 years, from all the way through from K through 12, 4 years of undergrad, 4 years of getting their license and all, but going through graduate school and all that stuff. And y'all be shutting them down with what? How long did you study versus how long did they study? And if you think about it, it was almost comical the way you shut them down. It was embarrassing for them, right? Because they were like, they kind of tripping over themselves. Their brain fell out on the floor in front of them, and you just laughing at them. And you're like, what's your problem? This ain't hard. Come on. I was assuming you would come with something that I would actually have to struggle with. I don't know why our people assume that we can't do what other people do. And it's just like, have you seen the state of the world? What makes you think just because they're getting paid to do it that they're qualified to be doing this stuff? For real. So I'm just saying, more shouldn't make assumptions. I think, and this is just a theory, it comes so easily to us, we don't trust it. But if you know you're Superman, what's going on? It really does come easily. It's like if you really like halfway try, right? Even if you just pick up a book and like, oh, I did it. I'm like, I'm not here to teach. I'm here to trigger, right? Because our people, excuse me, I remember seeing a more speaking about a typo that was found in the 101s. It's been in everybody's face the whole time, where a child pointed out that it said the flag was 10,000 years old, but the child was like, okay, I see the 10 comma, but why are there 4 zeros behind the comma instead of 3 if it's 10,000? Maybe the comma is in the wrong place and the flag is actually 100,000 years old. Even if it's only 10,000 years old, that's just the flag. That's just the most modern flag, which means we've probably been around long enough where stuff should be coming easy to our people now. We're the progeny of those people, right? I actually looked it up because I was just like, okay, I'm trying to figure out how is it that the European, me and my son always getting into this stuff, right? Because this boy just loves to challenge me. How is it that you can get on a boat in Germany? Get on a boat. You're German. You get on a boat in Germany. You get off that boat in New York, and now you're American, right? And I keep asking them, like, can I do that in India? Can I do that in China? Right? I don't know. Oh, why did I even get on that? I'm sorry. I thought I lost my thought. I forgot why I got on that. I guess it's still the assumptions. Oh, yeah. So, that's kind of, I know I lost my thought and I'll be watching this and be like, dang, I completely got off that. But back to this assumptions thing, how people assume just because it is that way, that's how it's always been, right? Oh, that's what I was talking about. The assumption, you got off the boat in Germany, got on the boat in Germany, got off the boat in America, and somehow you're American. But you cannot do that. Can you, that same German person, get on a boat in Germany and go to China and be Chinese? No, it only works here. Right? I lost my thought again. Dang, I'm on the road. Give me a second. Oh, I counted the generations, right? So you are how the European insists they get to stay here based on how many generations they've been here. All right. So I'm like, I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt and start your clock in 1500, because really it's 1690, but I'm gonna start it in or 16 with 19, whatever. But I'm gonna start it in 14 or 1500, right? And I actually counted the generation. So 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20th century, 21st century, right? So that's like 600 years, right? That you all have been over here. And I looked it up, like how many generations is that? Or how many ancestors does that equal? And it was something like over 2 million ancestors over 600 years. All right. Now, during the entire, you weren't calling yourselves whatever you're calling yourself today, the entirety of that 600 years. That didn't really start until 200 and some change years ago in 17. I'm just speaking on our land in the United States, right? So that didn't happen until 1776 or whatever, 1789. And so that's like 17, 18, 1989. That's only 200 years and some change, right? So I looked that up and I'm like, oh, they talking about it's like 400 or 500 ancestors. And based on that, you think that you get to stay here. And then I'm like, okay, we were in your country for 700 years. I looked up 600 years and it said over 2 million ancestors. So 700 years is going to be way more than 2 million ancestors. And yet somehow, some way, those Moors insist we get to stay because we've been here for 700 years, a whole dang millennia dang. It was almost 800 years. They always overcount their stuff and undercount ours. But it was 700, I think it was like 789 years. So I'm going to say 800 years that we were up in Spain or in Andalus, right? And those Moors did not insist we get to stay because we've been here so long. All right. So we really do need to start collectively checking these folks, everybody, right? Stop wondering how should I put this and just put it. All right. Start checking these mugs because they're not worried about how they making you feel by talking their nonsense on your land. So I'm not understanding why we care about how they feel, right? And they need to bow down. They probably waiting on. It's like being a quote unquote black woman. The entire world just knows you don't approach her a certain way. It doesn't matter what you know about her. You just know if I come in her this way, I know that it don't matter which one I'm talking at. There go the neck and off comes my skin with her tongue. You know, she will lacerate me with her tongue type of thing. So more should give themselves more credit because everything they're using, they got from us. And I'm gonna be real. The lighter they are, the less they can use it effectively, right? Let's go down to the bottom of the under the barrel to the Europeans and how they can only handle 33 degrees. Look what they're doing with 33 out of 360 degrees. But you assume that they know something more than you do. Even if you don't know it, the fact that they do, I tell this to my children. The fact that somebody is doing that, unless it's like they got like some extra body part or they can bend in a different way, you can do it too. You can, in fact, just because of who you are, you can do it better, right? Which is why don't nobody want to compete with you. I'm looking at my board because I actually wrote some notes down. So what's some ways you can obliterate some of these assumptions? If you thinking that, oh, I could never, excise that by doing something that will make you more confident in it, right? To the 77 days of elevation, right? I have 3 things that I'm doing. I am not doing all 3 every single day at all, right? Because I thought I would have the time. I just don't have the time. But the best part is that since it's 3 of them, I can get to one of those. You know, something's going to get done. I'm going to make a gesture every single day, right? So yesterday I was sewing. Today I'm making the video. So tomorrow I got to get back on that guitar. And I think I actually found a more. See, this is what happens when you just say something. I said I know how to fix a string. You're like, I know how to play the guitar. Oh yeah, You know how to teach the guitar? So yeah, I'm about to get up with that more. So yeah. Again. I don't know how long I've been here, but I got it in. Yay. Praise Allah. So y'all enjoy your I'm gonna wrap this up now. CalifaMedia.com, purplepaperclip.com. Actually easier, Linktree/Califa Media. All right. Hit up Mercy Charities, MRCI Charities.com. We are keeping a list of all the Moors who contribute. Um, so that if anything happens to you, you know, we'll be there. It's to the best of our abilities. And nobody's saying, well, you got a $500 problem. You only put in $20. You could put in $1, right? We ain't keeping track like that. Anyway, more you're just plain rich. So I don't understand there. I don't see the need to be stingy. All right. That being said, y'all enjoy your Sabbath. And I need to find Yoni Melanin because I promised to do her chart. So if I can find her tomorrow, Saturday the 16th, is going to be a great day. It's a good day to go fishing or to plant something. The moon will be moving into Pisces at 4:18 a.m. and it will be I'm doing something. The moon will be trining Venus at 12:36 a.m. I'm looking at my calendar. Because everything the European told us not to do, I go with that furiously. And they told us don't look up. So yeah, I got a calendar. I got a chart. Right now I'm reading, right? Because we're going through a very karmic cycle right now. It's called karmic astrology, the moon's nodes and reincarnation. Because I forgot, today that moon conjunct Saturn is squaring both nodes. So you might want to look at wherever any of the fixed signs are in your chart to determine what's going on. You might be feeling some insecurity in the area that's being ruled by Aquarius. And yeah. So yeah, tomorrow's going to be a great day. But like I was saying, I'm going to find Yoni Melanin. And if y'all have the stereo app, if I can find her, I'm going to do her chart on the stereo app just because I can go longer on there. And she was asking, I know my chart and I don't know where to go next. So I'm gonna show her some tips and tricks. You know, I've been studying astrology for 20 years. I got an 8th house sun Jupiter conjunction. So I love symbology. And I've been told I'm pretty good at it. So if y'all want to join in on that, if I can actually find her, you know, that'll be on the stereo app under Zahra Bey. All right, and with that, peace and love. You Moors are dope. Islam, who's in here? I don't know. I see 6 people. What's up, Grand Sheik, Grand Governor, Divine Minister, Moorish MC? Yeah. All right. And with that, I'm out. Y'all enjoy your day and, you know, be easy. And I'll check you in 2.5 days when the moon is going through Pisces. I'm not going to tell you what to look for. You know, utilize the Google machine and have at it. All right. Y'all be cool. Peace. In video. End. Peace, y'all.